The ABCs of Death. I do not like this movie. Now, don't get me wrong, I think it's kind of admirable that 26 filmmakers got together to make an anthology film like no other. But anyway, the Sunday, this film just doesn't make any sense. The segments are pretty much quantity over quality. There's no linear story tying them together, and plus, most of the stories are just plain weird. I mean, I know absolutely none of these directors except for maybe Adam Wingard or T. West. But that doesn't excuse the fact that this might be the weirdest horror movie I have ever seen. Half the time it isn't even horror. It can't even get that right. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some really good segments. I really liked Young Buck. Miscarriage was terrifying. Orgasm was bizarre. And even Adam Wingard's segment, Quack, was pretty good because, come on, it's Adam Wingard. What hasn't he done right? But don't get me wrong, there are the bad ones. Like this woman who is obsessed with farts and has to stow away in another woman's butt in order to survive the impending apocalypse. I'm not gonna lie, this one caught me off guard, but this didn't need to be in a horror anthology. And let me remind you that this movie is 2 hours long. Anyways, let's talk about Z's Verzettemetsu for a moment. I liked the surreal concept, I'm glad it worked out, but it didn't need to be a segment here, and certainly not the final segment in a movie that's as long as Clockwork Orange. Also, a cheap jump scare after the credits? Really? Now, if you want the segment that I like personally, I suggest checking out Young Buck, Orgasm, Miscarriage, Quack, Samurai Movie, and nope, that's it. Every other segment is awful. Just so awful. If you're wondering what type of shit we're dealing with today, let me remind you that there are 2 segments dedicated to that exact thing, and they're both animated. Overall, besides the few segments I recommended, I wouldn't recommend checking out this movie at all. Don't get me wrong, it's an interesting experiment, but why would I want to watch this when films like Creepshow exists? I don't think it's worth your time. Oh yeah, and then there's this segment by late great animator John Schnapp. Now that one was hilarious, I really enjoyed that.
What the fuck?
So yeah, with that alone, I think that bumps up our 3 out of 10 to a 4 out of 10. But still, I don't recommend this in the slightest. I would probably recommend The Big Bang Theory more than this. And that is ironic since I absolutely despise that show. Oh hey, while we're on the subject of taking topics, anyone up for Cowboy Bebop? So yeah, final score is 4 out of 10. Thank you for watching, and please don't tell me to watch ABCs of Death 2. I'm not kidding, please don't tell me to review, I want to be free from this pain. Oh yeah, and Merry Christmas.